What is up, everybody? James Owens here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. You guys see the new arm? I'm official now. I'm officially a YouTuber now. I got the mic arm. Today I kind of just wanted to get up here and talk to you guys. I really do enjoy coming up here and just kind of like talking and kind of voicing my opinion in regards to things, sharing information with you guys. In regards to like working out, how I train, different types of exercises that I think have been kind of like a staple in my training to kind of help me optimize my time the most. And I just really enjoy just kind of coming up here and talking to you guys. I really appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm literally just going to talk to you guys a little bit about a couple things that I wish I knew before I started bodybuilding. Probably five ish things that I knew before I started bodybuilding. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, I appreciate all the love, all the support, all the likes, the comments, the shares. I appreciate you all. So the first thing, and probably one of the most obvious things that I wished I knew before I started bodybuilding, was how freaking expensive it is. You know, if you accumulate everything, like I pay for a coach during my prep seasons, supplements, gym apparel, food. I'm eating 4 to 5 times a day, so specific foods that I like, all that stuff adds up. And that's not even in regards to like competing, right? If you're someone who's looking to compete, now you got to put money out for travel. You got to put money out for your NPC, your IFBB Pro membership. You got to put money out for the categories, the different categories and the shows that you're doing. So bodybuilding, I wasn't aware of it until I started bodybuilding, but it's an extremely expensive sport. And then kind of a downside to that, and this is just kind of pure transparency, it doesn't give much, right? Bodybuilding doesn't give much financially. You kind of just investing in something that you enjoy doing while simultaneously investing in yourself. So if you're looking to get into bodybuilding, just understand you're going to be putting out probably a lot more money than usual for things like supplements and food and stuff like that. So the second thing that I wish I knew about bodybuilding before I actually started bodybuilding was kind of like the community. I know this is kind of like a one-off thing, or like kind of something that's hard to explain, but the bodybuilding community can be a really confusing community. Even if you hop on Instagram or even if you hop on YouTube, you have a lot of people in the realm of fitness and bodybuilding, and a lot of the information put out by some people can be contradictory to some of the information by other people. I know when I first started working out and I first started bodybuilding, I was watching a lot of people like Mike Rashid, and Simeon Panda, and I think they were good people to kind of watch when I first started training. But eventually I kind of fell in love with bodybuilding a little more, and I felt like I outgrew the information that they were putting out. This is no shade or anything like to those type of YouTube pages or Instagram pages, but personally I think they feed off of like the beginner's mindset of bodybuilding. And when I got into bodybuilding, I wasn't a beginner for long. Like I quickly evolved mentally in the bodybuilding, on the bodybuilding scene, and I realized that I quickly outgrew a lot of the YouTube channels and stuff that I used to watch in the past. So now I look for more like educational YouTube channels, and I look to kind of make my YouTube channel a little bit more educational than just basic information. My biggest pet peeve in the bodybuilding community is misinformation and then diluted information. Like, don't even get me started on like social media bodybuilding or social media bodybuilders or social media fitness influencers. I myself, I'm categorized as a fitness influencer, but I just try to be real. I try to be raw. Like even now during this video, this wasn't rehearsed. I'm kind of just spitting this stuff out as I go. A lot of the stuff you see on YouTube is like trendy. A lot of stuff you see on social media is like trendy and rehearsed, and it's just honestly a lot of it is lies. Also, a lot of it is terrible information. You see a lot of terrible form, and just I wish I knew more about the community before I hopped into it, because it was hard to navigate that stuff in the beginning, and I felt like I wasted a lot of time kind of feeding into like a lot of the nonsense early, when I wish I could have had more access to like kind of the real raw stuff early on in my bodybuilding career, or hobby, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, definitely the bodybuilding community is something that I wish that I was more aware of before I actually started training and before I started bodybuilding. Another thing I wish that I knew before I started bodybuilding was pretty much how it would make me inaccessible to a lot of people. It's taken me out of a lot of social circles that I used to be in, only because I'm passionate about it, and it doesn't directly or even similarly align with a lot of the people that I used to deal with in my past. Obviously, bodybuilding is gym and is nutrition, so that stuff didn't necessarily align anymore. So I had to make a choice. You know, if I'm passionate about this and I want to do this, you know, to the fullest, I have to, you know, get rid of some things in my life that don't necessarily align with what I wanted to do. So, you know, I had to cut some people off. I had to distance myself from some people to a certain extent. And some of those cutoffs were a little bit harder than others, but it's definitely something that I wasn't prepared for, and I kind of just had to make that decision for myself. Once I decided that bodybuilding was something that I wanted to do, I definitely wish that I knew the challenges that would come with bodybuilding in regards to my social circle and my normal pattern of life. You know, that's something that I wish that I was more prepared for before I started bodybuilding. Another thing that I wish I knew before I started bodybuilding was how it would impact my self-esteem. For me, at least, once I got to a certain body fat percentage, I kind of got hooked on that look. I enjoy looking that lean. I enjoy, you know, being that lean. It's a good look for me. I enjoy it a lot. And then kind of going off of prep and back into like an off season, you start gaining weight again. You start putting that body fat on again, and it kind of messes with you mentally a little bit. And you kind of start having not self-esteem issues. In my opinion, I don't think it's self-esteem issues. I think it's more of like an image thing. I think, you know, being in prep, you work so hard to get, you know, super lean, and to watch it kind of just flush away in 2 weeks and 3 weeks and 2 or 4 months when you've prepped for, you know, 16 weeks, 18 weeks at a time. It's kind of hard to revert back to that, you know, without taking some kind of hit mentally, right? I've only competed twice, and the second time was actually worse than the first time. But, you know, after I got off the stage the second time, I was really excited, you know, about going into my off season, about growing. And then I think it was about like maybe 3 months into my off season, I wanted to do another show, or at least I thought I wanted to do another show, but in all reality, I just wanted to be lean again, or that lean again. So I wish I knew before I started bodybuilding the effects that it would have on me mentally. I would rather, you know, be like, ew, I'm not fat, but I'm not as lean as I would like to be. I would rather go through that for an extended period of time and then do much better on my next show, than to stay in that calorie deficit or to stay that lean just so I can feel better about myself physically, but never improve or never get better on my show. So you know, that's definitely something I wish I knew before I started bodybuilding, just kind of the effect that bodybuilding, prep, getting lean, bulking would have on me mentally. And the very last thing that I'll leave you guys with today on, you know, things that I wish I knew before I started bodybuilding, is that it's not always just chicken, rice, and asparagus. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I love bacon. I absolutely love bacon. I love burgers. I love pizza. And there's space for that, you know, in your diet, especially when you're bulking. Even when I was on prep, my first prep was by one of my really good friends. We actually went to high school together. You know, Trey, he actually just got his pro card. Shout out to you, Trigger. I forget what show it was, but it was a couple months ago. I think it was like a New York show maybe, or maybe something on the West Coast. I forget, but he just got his pro card, so congratulations to him, man. Big shout out to Trey. Y'all seen me work out with him before if you follow me on Instagram, but yeah, he was actually my first coach, and for my very first show, and it was nothing crazy. He saw my shape, and he was like, hey man, you should definitely try bodybuilding. And I had no idea what bodybuilding was. This was back in 2020, and I had no idea what bodybuilding was. I was in like a training school for my job, and they had a show out in Arizona, so I was like, okay, you know what, I'll prep for this show out in Arizona. So we prepped for about from November-ish to April, I believe it was. So we prepped for a while, and it was the first prep that I ever went through. Had no idea what to expect, and he had my meal plans already made up for me, and it was literally just like asparagus, tuna, and like chicken every now and then. And obviously going into it, I was watching videos and stuff, and I would see bodybuilders only eating stuff like that, like cream of rice, white rice, plain chicken with no seasoning, asparagus. And I was just like, dude, like, I don't want my preps to be like this anymore. And honestly, I told myself, I was like, hey, if I can't enjoy foods for that amount of time, at least, season them, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna continue to compete because it just wasn't worth it for me at that time. But then I met my coach, Jason Holt. Shout out to Jason and Gifted Performance, man. I've been working with Gifted Performance and Jason for a while now. They prepped me through my second show, so big shout out to the team. But yeah, Jason prepped me through my second show, and he was just like, hey man, listen, this is our first time working together. I made the unfortunate decision to pick a show and then work towards that show versus kind of working into a good shape and then picking a show. But we picked a show. We competed in the spring of this year, so like past April, late March, early April we competed. And yeah, he just gave me macros. So he was like, this is your protein, this is your fat, this is your carbs, and then this is how much fiber you need to get on a daily basis, and this is how much cardio you need to do. And that was it. I had the freedom to make my own foods, make my own meals, and still get lean. So like for me, that was like the best thing possible for me. So like I said, I was still eating bacon on prep. Obviously I was meeting my macros, so like I wasn't going over my fats or over my carbs or anything, but I was fitting foods that I enjoy eating into my macros, because for me that's important, right? It's really challenging to prep for a long time just eating foods that you don't necessarily enjoy eating. Me, I'm not a picky eater. I just want to at least be able to add salt and pepper to my food, right? I think all that made a difference for me, especially with the predisposition that I already had watching YouTube videos, thinking that I had to go into every prep eating plain chicken, rice, no salt, no pepper, and asparagus all the time. So definitely I wish I knew that, I could eat more enjoyable foods before I started bodybuilding. I really wish I knew that, because like I said, I went into my first prep kind of sucking and hating life, and then into my second prep I was thinking that it would be the same way, and I dreaded it, until me and my coach talked, and he let me know like, hey, it's not going to be like that. I'm going to give you macros, you meet those macros, and we kind of go from there. So I definitely wish I would have known prior to bodybuilding that it's not all just chicken, rice, and asparagus all the time. Alright guys, so those are my 5 tips or 5 things that I wish I knew before I started bodybuilding. If you can relate to some of these things, if you've done competitions or you're new to bodybuilding and you can relate to some of these things, feel free to engage with me a little bit in the comment section. I know for a fact that I'm not the only one that feels like this about certain things, so communicate with me. Let me know how you guys enjoyed the video. If you didn't enjoy it, shit, let me know that too. Whatever I can do to better the channel for you guys to enjoy the content. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you follow me or add me on Instagram at j3_fit. Please leave likes, leave comments, share, and also if you aren't subscribing, please consider subscribing. I know I get a lot of viewers who aren't subscribed. Whatever it is that's stopping you from clicking that subscribe button, just click the goddamn button. Come on now, click the button. Click the button. Click the subscribe button. I appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will catch you in the next one.